I think the whole lesson is it's fine to be alone and in peace. And I will make it on my own and I will find something better. I think one door's closed and the other one opens up and probably is going to be better.
Welcome to the Poison Honey podcast. Today I have with me Nadia. Hello everyone! AKA together we're the original cast of Poison Honey podcast that never actually aired as the original.
I'm here now.
Well, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So I have invited you here today because we first of all we reconnected after like a year of not seeing each other.
Yeah.
And then when we reconnected, we both had this story of shit that happened to us that was pretty similar.
Yes. Always. It happens always at the same time. Like when we reconnect, we always go through the same shit. Like, yeah, always.
So as we were like talking about it, and seeing as I've been doing the season 2 of Poison Honey podcast, and I've been lagging a bit on recording the episode because life has been lifing. I was like, oh, this is a great idea for the podcast. And then you were available, and now here you are.
Yes.
Okay. So this is weird because now I'm interviewing you. Yeah. So how have you been, Nadia? Tell us your story.
My story. Well, it has been a whirlwind. Let me tell you that. I just got out of a relationship of 6 months with someone who's much younger than me. And it's my second love. So the second love always hurts the most. And there were a couple of times after, we broke up, that it's been a month ago, where I wanted to be respectful and loving because you don't fall in love with someone just like that, So there's still love and everything, even though someone hurt you and disrespected you, but, you speak with love and kindness. Mm-hmm. But there was a situation where he told me that he missed me and eventually ghosted me.
Right.
Yeah. And I got fucking mad. I got so mad. And I was like, I'm talking with love and respect, and I treated you so kindly because I forgave you. It's not my place to judge you or put fingers to you. But you're fucking with my feelings right now.
Right.
And that's the point where I had to put a boundary. I wrote him a text, a super long text. Let me tell you, we were meeting up that day. And I texted him, like, what time do you want to meet up? No response. So 2 hours later, I call him. He doesn't pick up his phone. So I was like, okay, you've been testing me, okay. And I was done with school, and I still didn't get anything, no message, no nothing. And then I lost it. So I wrote a whole text telling him what kind of bad person he was, the way that he treated me, even though I treated him with love and respect. And he got angry at me. And I was like, you know what? This is impossible. I told you what you did wrong and what it made me feel. Yeah. And I felt like a queen because I was speaking from my heart. I was speaking from, my truth.
Yeah.
So that has been going
Yeah,
on.
it's been going on, yeah. And for me, similarly, I shared a story that I basically confessed my feelings to someone, and yeah, I wasn't returned in the same way, and it hurt. It hurts when you have a certain, at least for me, I know I'm a dreamer. So, I had ideas, things I wanted to do with this person and achieve with them. And to get such a harsh rejection, it was difficult. But at the same time, you know me, as I've been going through this story a couple of times already. And for me, the boundary here was I'm not going to beg anyone to want me back.
I've never beg someone to want you. Are you joking?
Bitch, please. Oh.
How do you beg? Like, are you crazy? Do you know what you're letting go?
It's not
It's pride. It's pride, baby. You're never gonna see me beg.
There's been times where I feel, not in this particular situations, but there's been times where I feel like when I talk about this a lot is traumas, that out of trauma reaction, especially I have like I think like an abandonment kind of type of trauma, that in the past I would have reacted a certain way. I would have wanted to understand why exactly they don't want me. Is there something that I can change? And what is really funny is that this person said, well, I said why rhetorically. I didn't really ask why, but they thought they're going to answer the why anyway. And I was like, okay. But in their time to answer the why, they were like, well, if I tell you why, then you're going to try to change and da 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 da. And for me, the moment that I was proud of myself is that when I read it, and I was like, well, no, I had no intentions of changing. And that for me was, for myself, a full circle moment. And I was like, wow, I'm that's like hardcore proof for myself that I'm getting over this particular trauma of being left. Because even though I'm a naturally curious person, so that's why that was my first thought, like why. But then I realized it wouldn't matter what the why was, because if you don't want me as a person, then I'm sorry, this is who I am.
Yeah, then you're not the person for the other one.
Yeah,
You know, and that's fine.
exactly.
But it's like most of the time it's like the aftermath from it. The nine times is like disrespect or weird behavior from the other person. Like you're like, dude, you are confused. You are insane. You're like not here. It's your problem. Don't make your problem. Don't project it to me. Yeah. No.
I'm gonna try. Ooh. Why you just with that? Yeah. I don't know.
I have like a natural like.
Yeah. You know, it's like your half has light and I don't have light. Yeah, I think like this, I might be able to fix it a little bit. We're on a low budget. So,
It's the fun stories that you're running through.
yeah.
You know, 30-something women going through hell.
So that was for me my lesson that I learned. And each time that I ask someone why, and we go into a discussion about the why, I end up feeling like I'm begging the person to want me, even though that's not my intention. What was your lesson in this situation?
My lesson that I think that's a good one. I think I'm still learning. I think one of the things that's very tough for me, I have the same abandonment issues. Like I would beg someone not to leave me, even though I knew that the person was so toxic. I would take that. I would swallow everything and I would go through. But I think the whole lesson is it's fine to be alone and in peace. And I will make it on my own and I will find something better. I think one door's closed and the other one opens up and probably it's going to be better. But you see a lot of this, like the way that you act in relationships are things from childhood traumas. Like I do feel from my childhood that I got abandoned, but also like I couldn't say anything. I couldn't put boundaries up because, oh, you're my mom and dad. So I have to listen.
That's one thing we don't.
Yeah, that's like the like I couldn't stand up for myself, like business wise or work wise. I'm a tough cookie. Like I can tell you, like fuck off. But with family and relationships, it's not that easy. Not that easy. And for me, standing up at that moment in that situation, let me see, I grow so much. Even though I did it respectfully. I said fuck off respectfully.
Yeah.
And the other person doesn't really get that, but I do think also because of the age difference, you projected on something like I told him to be embarrassed for who the fuck he is and he should look into the mirror. And the only thing that he looked on was being insecure. And he's like, I'm 0.0% insecure. Are you joking? I told you have to be embarrassed of the person you are. You're reflecting on insecurities. So what I said at that point about the insecurities, I now know that the choices that he made for looking for different women was because of the fact that he's insecure.
Yeah, because otherwise you would react on that particular thing.
It was like so weird. And I was like, okay, I made the right decision. But it takes time. I think in everything of healing and putting on boundaries, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time, and sometimes you're gonna fuck up. And sometimes, we're human. People fuck up in every form, shape, or way.
Yeah.
But that's fine because we learn from that.
That's really interesting that we react on like this very trigger point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, for me,
you know what? The fun part was like, oh, I caught you. I caught you. I now know you are insecure. You broke your own hand. You showed your colors.
Yeah. They don't think they're they don't. Yeah, and it's like what you're seeing now that you made a specific point. I feel like I did that even without trying, because as I said, I didn't even say a lot back. But it was clear through their text back to me, and it's something that I felt in the last encounters with this person is that they kept asking me like the same questions. At one time, and they came back and asked me the same questions to see kind of like if the situation changed or something, and I was like, first of all, I'm confused in my head. I'm like, why the fuck do you keep asking me the same question? And I'm going through a whole irritability thing in my own mind first before I answer someone. But their answer confirmed to me that they have like a list of things that whatever the person has to oblige to or like terms. And that's amazing. I'm like, I'm not a fucking order you're making from China. I'm a human being.
That's it. Like, how can you go into a relationship? Okay, you have to have these things. If you don't have these things, like you're a control freak. Are you insane?
Okay, like no one, and it's not for a fact that people have not tried. My whole life, people have tried to because I look boxable for some reason. I don't know. I don't know what it is about my face that people think I can box this person. But if there's one thing about me, I may be soft spoken. I may not always speak my mind in these things, but if there's one thing about me, you cannot box me. If it happens temporarily, I can temporarily go along with it, but at some point I will rebel against being boxed in. So I know that about me, and so I did wish them, good luck finding whoever checks all your boxes.
Exactly. But if you're not the person that they want to be with, like, good friends, do you, boo boo? Like, who cares? But don't be mean. Don't be nasty. Don't be reacting because of your frustration on the fact that now you're not begging them to stay. No, it's move on freely, or go like a bird. Leave like a bird. Exactly. Ciao, baby.
Yeah. So I mean, and I don't know. I don't know. They expect me to react more, and who knows?
Who knows? It's gonna be like chapter 2, and I'm gonna be like, I miss you. I want to see you again. It's so hard. And I'm like, nah.
I mean,
Don't call
not without a conversation, like a proper conversation.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you
In my case.
Yeah, in your case. Like in my case, to have a proper conversation, you have someone who will understand whatever you're saying. My way, I told him. And it was like, in Dutch, it sounds so much better.
Yeah.
But I said, talking to you is mopping the floor and leaving the sink on. I'll translate it. Yeah. Met jou praten is dweilen met de kraan open. Like, honestly, like, it doesn't go nowhere. We're going to have conversation, but it's not going to come. It's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. It doesn't have, but I know for sure that this person is going to come back. This person is going to come back. And then, if you could have that conversation and let them know, show your boundaries, like, it's a good thing to let go of.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's not a point, but it's like a comma.
Yeah, okay.
It's like you cannot
What is that dot and comma? What do they call it?
A dot and a comma?
You have the one with the dot and the comma on top at the bottom.
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. It moves on. Yeah. Anyway, comma or the dot and the comma, whatever. Yeah. I do feel like from my side the conversation is not done, even if that's just like there's a friendship coming or something. I would really like a friendship actually, if even that's all we end up as. But the conversation is not done. But I was like, especially with the after the last cycle that I had the situationship with.
That's a whole different podcast. I'm going to you. That's going to be a whole different.
No, we're not going to give them
whole
the
different
power.
Show.
But
oh my god!
Because with that the one before, we had this back and forth, and we were writing long text, and then just like debating. I don't know what, because I knew that he didn't want me that way from the get go. And then, I knew it before he said it to me. Then he said it to me. Then, we kept getting naughty anyway. And then, I can't do that long term. So I told them I can't do that and why I can't do that. But I feel like they used my own feelings against me. And and then I was in that circle, and I was like, one thing we're not going to do is get into no type of circle of texting back and forth about this shit.
I'm not going to lie, I was texting so long.
That's like crazy.
It's like a whole book. It's like a
The crazy thing is, other person that we're talking about right now, the last one, the text was almost as long as the other one, and I was like, well, and we're not getting into that shit. No,
Listen, I'm not gonna do it.
No, you come to me with not face to face, letter or heart to the talk or whatever, but face to face. But what I found is with the previous guy one, I'm gonna call him guy one and two. Guy one, what happened is on text there was like this long that, and then in person when we're having this conversation, he couldn't even look me in the eye. You know what I mean? So guy two, if they want to talk, they're gonna come talk to me in my face, right? Look me in the eye. We're not. We're not doing this over text. No, that was my conclusion, and that's why I got the shit from my side.
Yeah. But like before this relationship, I was with the other guy for 3 years. I had a situationship for 3 fucking years. And I was so afraid to tell what my boundaries were. And I was so afraid to tell him what I was feeling because I was so scared of losing him. And I knew he wasn't good for me.
Mm-hmm. We always know. We always know.
We always know. He was not good for me. 3 years.
No, but
no, stop it. And I was so convinced I was going to marry this guy. I thought he was going to be my husband.
Hey, it's not worse than 5 years with someone that knew from the get-go that you weren't even compatible. I was just basically using you.
Yeah. But that's why I'm so proud of even though it hurt so bad, I'm so proud of what I've done and what I've said. And I can look in the mirror and be like, I'm a good woman. I'm a good woman. I'm an honest woman. Yep.
This woman has boundaries.
This woman has boundaries and has the power to say what she feels. And even though there are consequences sometimes with saying what you feel, it's something you feel, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's my truth. So, thank you. I'm so proud of myself. Could you imagine me, with the 3 years situationship? I didn't say shit. And now I was like, hallelujah.
I know, because I remember, again, because we go through the same, especially when it comes to relationship, we go to similar things at the same time. And when I was having the thing with guy one, that I was texting him back and forth, he told me like, ooh, I would never tell them how I feel. And I thought like, oh, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Because, relationship, as you've dated a lot more than I have, those, a lot of times when people have dated something more than I have, I kind of like look to them and like, am I right? And I was like looking to you like, especially with guys, because I also dated women, so I was like, am I doing this right? Do they want to know my feelings? I don't know.
You know what? Sometimes it's good to say what you're feeling, and my point is, but if the other person is not receiving it, it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah. It's not gonna get into their head. They're not gonna understand you. And then it's a waste of time. It's a waste of breath. It's a waste of using your fingers on text like this. Like, are you joking?
It's a waste of my tears. I'm dehydrated for months.
I cannot cry anymore. I cry so much. It's like the most pathetic thing ever. I was crying, and then one day I was like, I'm gonna cry. It's not coming. And they were like moving on with their life. I'm still trying to cry and get everywhere. Are you joking?
I had such an ugly cry.
I am such an ugly crier. No.
This how long it took for me to get over this. I don't want to say I'm completely over it because it happened like a week ago. But And definitely in terms of my emotional state, I noticed a growth within myself. Like I wrote down what I was feeling, and when I was in my emotions, I didn't know who to turn to. It felt like whoever, whether it was you or another friend, I would be bothering them with my feelings. And I'm like, just last year, I was bothering them already with some other person, and then the year before, I don't want to bother them again. It must be, and it might completely be rational thoughts, but in that moment, I was like, who wants to listen to me? I don't want to listen to me anymore about this shit.
But you have to talk about it. You have to, even though it's the same story over and over and over again, because you have to go through it. There is a certain stage of grief that you have. You're like sad, angry, and then you're going to start being sad again, and then you start grieving. You're going to grieve this person. And for some people, it takes a longer time than the other person. But what I've learned is that if I feel emotional, I just cry. Just do it. Let it out. Just get it out of your system, because otherwise you're going to put it inside your body, and it's gonna make sick and everything. No, I was crying doing my exams. I was like crying at the bus stop. I was crying. People were like thinking, "What is wrong with this woman?" I was crying with doing my thing.
The couple of days before, I was in Amsterdam because on Wednesdays I had my dance. And then when I left my dance class, I thought, I'm going to walk to the station. So I'm walking to the station, going like, hi, I'm going to play Scots, whatever. And there was this lady walking, and she was crying, and I recognized myself. Like, how many times I was walking in Amsterdam by myself, ugly crying, trying to, and I noticed, I recognized the point where she just passed some people, and she halted her crying, and she kept walking, and then she was like, you keep crying. Like, I recognize all of that because I have that. I don't want to attract people's attention. Like, I don't just let me cry. And sometimes people come up to you and they're like, are you okay? Just let me be. Let me cry. I just want to cry. Let me cry. I was in the bus, and it was like raining outside, and I had sunglasses on, and I was crying, and I was like, what is this? Am I ever going to get over this? You are going to get over this. I'm telling you, you've got to get over this. But it takes time. Time is your worst enemy, but also your best friend. And it is true. It is true. For me, even with as you're saying about time, because now I work basically where I was living before, and there's a couple of people I don't really want to see, including guy one and girl. So I remember directly after the aftermath, I was really worried about running into them and then these things, and I'm walking around, I'm like, what if they see me?
That's great.
Now you don't own this city.
Exactly. So
I was here first.
I don't care who you are. But you know what? Let me tell you, my last relationship, my ex, I work with him. I have to see him. And we met at work, and now the relationship is broken, and he has a different, and I have to see him couple times a week, and that's gonna be a difficult month. So my tip for everyone out there: don't fucking work. Don't do it. Don't look for a husband at work. Don't do it. Don't think about it. If you think about it, take a shower. I don't know. Throw yourself in the ocean. Cold water. Don't do it. Warning sign: don't date at work, because then you're going to get situations like this, because it's out of sight, out of mind. Then you go way faster through your grieving process. Now,
to see him.
Now I have to see him, knowing also you have a different woman. In 2 weeks. And everybody knows, and I have to stand there and I'm like, oh.
And that's the thing. I think it's also in this case,
Yeah, in some ways it is. He is in some ways very mature, but you see, like in relationship wise, in my situation was I knew he was younger, and it took a long time for me to get in a relationship with him. But I knew that he has to make mistakes. He was 20. He was 20. I'm 29. So I know you're in a different phase of life. You have to fuck up and make wrong decisions and learn from them.
Well, at 30, I'm still making
Yeah, but for me, I was in a different phase because I do want to have children and a house and a dog and, have that stable life. I had that. I made my fuck ups. I did it. I still do fuck up, but it's a different way because you process it.
They're at level 2 of
yeah, but you process it differently, and you see in the way that he processes a lot of things that he is still young. And I try to talk to him a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Like, if you have a feeling you can't do this, I will meet you halfway. And I tried so much to make it work. It wasn't the worst relationship because we had really good times, but in some aspects of the relationship, he is still too young.
Yeah.
And I cannot change that. And he proved himself that he couldn't change that.
Yeah.
So I did my best. It only sucks when someone hurts you.
And it will always suck.
That sucks. If you go like on good terms, then it's fine. But when someone hurts you and you have to see them and work,
I'm skeptical about something ending on good terms. I'm like, never really ever really end on such good terms. I don't know. It ends, and I can't imagine it will work either way unless the other person is such a asshole that never really cared about you. But for one person, at least, it's hard. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't know.
Like the guy, before my relationship, the 3-year situationship, I didn't know that he hurt me.
Mm.
I went through.
What did they expect? That's the 3 years.
3 years. But the most painful thing was that he was in love with another woman. Another woman. I knew about her, but she lived in Turkey. So I was like, yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Turkey. But I found out he texts her and calls her all day, and his family met her, and he wanted to get married with her and get her to Holland. And I was like,
that's heavy.
That's what the fuck are you doing with me?
Why are you in my bed?
Why? What are you doing with me? Yeah. How can you hold me, kiss me, and do things so intimately with me while you're in love with another woman? Are you crazy?
I couldn't get this about guy one. That it was like intimate and passionate and everything. But then just to be like, oh, but you're not my type, that messed with me. You're like, really messed with me.
You have to be a certain type of it. You are like a type because otherwise you're not getting drawn to someone. The energy connection won't be fitting.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you lying to yourself?
Yeah, and then I noticed because I know that because he explained to me in great detail what his type is. And then I noticed in myself that when I saw girls on the street that were his type or closer to his type, that fucks me up. And then I would feel some type of way, and I had to reprogram myself. It's not about the girl themselves, and I would realize, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are gorgeous, and I don't want to get negative and start being overly critical about these girls, or trying to crack down because I feel a certain way because he has a certain type. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, they can't even know him, first of all.
No, but it fucks you up because you have to compare yourself to these girls, and you could never do that. You should always be happy with who you are, and But that's like a mind fuck. That's like emotional abuse. If you're a dickhead, you should, die. Sorry. You should die.
I mean, he's gonna die someday.
Yeah. That's a promise we can make. We're all gonna die someday.
That's true. That's true.
There's always some thing in life.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah, but this is kind of unrelated to the boundaries topic now. But when did you realize, like, that you became conscious, like, I'm gonna die someday?
I don't know.
Really?
That's a different podcast.
Well, I think about that sometimes,
I don't know. It's like some people have that moment, like when family members die. Oh shit, it can happen.
Well, that's real.
That's real. This shit is real. But I think I was like very young, like I feeling like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get this long. I don't know. It's gonna go
forever.
fast.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be, think about the Disney movies forever and ever. No, it's not going to be like that. The soul effect also is like one, I don't know, it's like a matrix or something. I could never imagine.
That is literally a different podcast because I'm doing an episode of adulting.
That's like, I didn't expect this shit, bro. I thought it was going to be very different. I thought it was like Disneyland. But this shit,
I feel wrong.
Yes. I feel wrong. Like someone punched a hole in my dream and everything just is like fucked up. But
Where is the happily ever after? Where is it?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna
put a Google alert on.
Oh no, I was like, I'm gonna open up Walt Disney's grave and then be like, what is this? You liar! You lied to me! You sold me something. This is not what I signed up for.
Exactly. Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm gonna try to bring it back to boundaries.
Yeah, honey, I have to.
You have to go. I wanted to round it off right now. So, as a round off thing, what do you want to give the audience in terms of setting boundaries for yourself and in terms with other people and accept boundaries?
Boundaries. Okay, so my message is that when you feel the strength and the power to tell, you can always come from out of love and from out of respect and tell people what they need to hear and be okay with that. And sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's not. But if it's not at that point, if you can't say it, then that's also fine because you have to learn, you have to go through a process. Yeah. And time heals. Time heals.
Time will tell.
Exactly.
Time after time. Yeah. And yeah, talking about time, this is all the time we have today with Nadia.
It's a short one.
It's a short one. I mean, it's long enough because we have like 40 minutes of footage. Thank you so much for joining me on the Poison Honey podcast. Thank you. So much fun. I know you gotta go more often.
I'm gonna do that. There's gonna be an episode too.
Yeah. So okay. Boundaries. Stick to it. Set your boundaries. Take your time to learn. Take your time to heal. But you'll get there. And on that note, until next time on the Poison Honey podcast. Bye.
Poison Honey is about 2